I love the smell of empty threats in the morning. I find it amazing that anyone still uses the Pascal's wager argument for religion, but I still get this regularly in comments from theists. For those of you who have been recently exposed to this argument used frequently in Christian apologetics, this is the proposition that basically boils down to it's better to believe in God than not believe, since if you don't believe and you're wrong, you burn in hell, and if you do believe and there is no God, then you aren't losing anything. You may also be familiar with the somewhat similar but mentally handicapped version of this. If you don't repent, you'll burn in hell. Of course, sometimes they say that you need to be saved first, or born again, or something else depending on the sect. I do always find it funny when I'm threatened with this sort of thing. For any theists watching this video that have used this argument, has this ever worked on any atheist older than 8 years old? If not, why doesn't this stop you from trying? I suspect that I feel the same way about these threats as both of us would feel if we went to some remote tribal region of the world, and the witch doctor threatened to turn us into a crocodile with a magic spell. Maybe he would tell us about the invisible god of giant purple frogs that would swallow us in the afterlife, and we would take a scary psychedelic trip from the poison if we didn't believe in him now. And this is coming from someone who knows that giant purple frogs exist. So about the wager itself, the first and most obvious problem is there are lots of religions out there, and there are many religions that impose supernatural punishments after death for not believing in them. Pascal, of course, was just assuming Christianity is the only option. Since most of these religions are mutually exclusive, you now have to pick from many religions, which throws those supposedly really great odds out the window. Now that you have many different creation myths to choose from, if you still believe Pascal, then the trick would seem to be finding the religion with the most severe penalty for not believing, and religions with no penalty shouldn't even be considered. The blanket Christian punishment of burning in a lake of fire seems a little silly, actually, because not everyone has a phobia around that. When I make my own Crocodile Army religion, I'm going to make Crocodile Hell based on everyone's individual phobia. I'll even publicly name my own right now, just in case my religion is actually real. I'm terrified of being surrounded by beautiful women. Did you get that? Then there's the assertion by Pascal of no negative consequences for false beliefs. Those who believe this is true seem to have already assumed that our lifetimes are not terribly meaningful, since apparently wasting our time, money, and energy on a false belief has no cost, according to Pascal. This indicates that a decision has already been made about believing in the afterlife, and they believe that surely something magical happens when we die. Not only is there a cost to us in terms of resources, but also if in fact humans are the highest authority on Earth, and we devote our lives to a belief system that looks down on or even actively oppresses other humans, like gay people and people that believe in other religions, then we've done a terrible disservice to those people, and they won't get a magic reward after they die to make up for their earthly suffering that your actions put them through. Not to mention the opportunity cost of not using the Vatican for low-income housing. I also question what anyone who finds Pascal's wager compelling thinks of their god's intellect. If your god is stupid enough to have no idea that you're only pretending to believe to avoid hell, then your god is not omniscient, or your god doesn't care if you truly believe, or you just put on a show. Any method of choosing a religion based on how steep the punishment is seems to undercut the promise of answers to the big cosmic questions. Now it's just a magic punishment arms race, bound only by our fertile human imaginations. So much for divine inspiration, right? Next time someone hits you with any variation of Pascal's wager, don't even bother to choose from this false dichotomy. Just send them this video and place your wager on reality.